Hello, film fans. We are Elysia Brenner,
Robin Hellgren,
and we're from the AoDR Film Festival going on online now through January 21st.
and we're here together with Alayna, the creator of Macaroni Soup, which is
Oh,
one of the films in competition for the LGBTQ plus themed section of the festival this year.
thank you so much for being here with us, Elena.
Thank you so much for having me as well.
So you're credited as the director of this film, but I do I understand correctly that you wrote it as well?
Yes, I did write it as well, and I was the main animator, and a lot of the work is me, but I also had a lot of assistants helping as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it feels very personal. It feels personal to me as someone who's lived between cultures, and yeah, I just know the feeling of being so grateful when someone's kind to me when I'm saying something that sounds silly in their language. um, so I had to ask, is this based on your own experiences of you are also bilingual with Cantonese or?
Yeah, I am bilingual with Cantonese, but it took a long time getting there. I
Mhm.
would say, no, the entire story isn't entirely based on me, but a lot of the elements, definitely the language gap, sometimes having fights with my family, a lot of that is based on my real life.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Um, And, this is a quietly queer story, which I appreciate. It has a romance blossoming between 2 women, but it's subtle, and that's not really what the film is about. So, was it important to you that this relationship was portrayed in this way, or is that just how it happened to come out?
I would say, yeah, I think part of it being quiet was just the way I was raised is also
Right.
like me being quiet about my identity. So
Mhm.
I feel like it reflected back into the work, and also because I wanted to show it to my parents, but I don't want to make it like super out. So I felt like the subtlety was also a nice part that just played into it as well. And it also garners a lot of different reactions from the audience. Like they think it's maybe a friendship story or a culture
Right.
story. Some of them think it's a queer story. Like my professor, who actually saw it as a queer story, I was really happy when she saw it like that.
Yeah, so I guess it's, kind of what you're bringing to the table, which is a nice thing for art to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask a bit more about, you mentioned so your sort of history and your upbringing sort of shining through here. You're from British Columbia. Uh,
Yes, that's correct. From
you studied
Vancouver.
in. Oh, great, perfect. So I just wanted to like ask if that's sort of um, is that something that inspired you? Is that something that sort of resonated in the way that you constructed your film? Is that something that sort of influenced you, I guess, in the writing?
Yeah, it totally did influence me. Most of the backgrounds and the restaurants, all of that was done for me through personal research by going to a bunch of restaurants in Vancouver, and it
Okay.
was a very delicious tour. So even though there isn't a set location for the film itself, a lot of it's based in Vancouver, and a lot of it
Okay.
is influenced by my
Uh,
Vancouver friends.
Okay. Because I did wonder if it was in Vancouver or Hong Kong.
Perhaps, but we don't
Okay,
know.
yeah,
Keeping it
it's
up
not
there.
important. Okay.
and you also got that connection to Hong Kong, as you mentioned. Have you spent much time there yourself?
Mostly only as a tourist, so I feel like I don't really get the full experience of living in Hong Kong, but I have been there several times, yes.
Nice. Yeah, I personally spent a brief time living in Hong Kong as well. So I think you pretty much nailed a lot of the feeling of that sort of restaurant
Glad to
experience there.
hear. I even
So
made sure to make sure, like, getting the crowd noises, it was actually a specific sound clip from Hong Kong, so I was like,
Oh,
gotta
cool.
make sure.
yeah, I specifically the sort of part about waving to get attention and sort of shouting in the restaurant, which is very foreign to me. Like I'm quite quiet in that sense, but I think that's yeah really resonated
Totally.
with that sort of experience to me. Have you had much like response from fans? Have you been able to screen it anywhere there or?
I actually did get to play it once in Hong Kong. One of a, I think I would say a queer filmmaker reached out to me because they were preparing a queer event in Hong Kong. So I was like, perfect. And it was
Oh
the one
wow,
time that I actually got to play there. I don't sure if I got any response from it, but it was just a wonderful time. And I got to play it in other countries. So I'm also very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, now it's playing all over the world, thanks to the wonders of the internet.
Yay.
Yeah. I was wondering, your main character seems to be distancing herself from her parents, and I was wondering if this was related to her queer identity, or if there are other things at play here, or if it's not important.
It was definitely something to be kind of left up to the audience, but I would say it's
Okay.
definitely like a queer thing. Like she was probably trying to come out, but then it didn't work out well. But yeah,
Right.
like trying to leave it up open for the audience, of course.
Yeah. No, I like the ambiguity of this film. I saw in another interview that you said that the expression, the macaroni soup in the title,
Mhm.
that it means an awkward turn of phrase in Cantonese. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I kind of it's kind of a weird pun to make, but like macaroni soup. If I remember the pun correctly, I think some the macaroni part of it could, if you listen like really weirdly to it, it could translate to same sex
Okay.
attraction, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, but it's been a long time since I made that pun. I was probably really tired when I was thinking about it up.
No, I think it's brilliant that the title plays on multiple levels.
I love that. Just digging a bit deeper into the sort of your process with making the film, I don't think people really in general realize how much effort and work goes into animation as a whole.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about like that? How long did it take you? What was your process like?
Yeah, since Macaroni Soup was a grad film, all of us in my school were given a year to work on it. So that was a lot of
Okay.
animation. And it's true how you say, like, animation is basically drawing the same picture millions, no, not millions, but thousands and thousands of times. So it was a lot of my psyche, and I was really stressed. And I basically can't remember that entire year. It was a lot of work.
Did you have any help, or what software did you
Yes.
use?
Yes, I did get a lot of help. I had a few background artists as well as colorists. So I would kind of draw the line art of the animation and they'd help me color it in.
Okay.
And what I used for it was Toon Boom Harmony, which is an industry animation program that we were taught a lot of in school.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. And what are the biggest things you learned through the process?
Mm, Probably how to delegate work. That's always a very important life skill, and I always try to boast about it in my interviews with jobs. Like, yeah, so I made this film. It's in a lot of festivals, and I learned a lot about how to divvy up the work. It's always like a good place to show off, I guess.
Indeed.
That's really cool. And just that like the whole year process. How close would you say that your initial sort of, I guess, storyboarded or your initial idea for the short, and how much of
Hmm.
that made it into the for final cut, if you will?
Hmm. I would say it's actually quite faithful to the original idea because I was really wanting to make sure that it was my last year of school. I wanted to make what I wanted to make, even if the professor didn't get some of the elements or my friends didn't get some of the aspects. I want to make it something that I could be proud of and say that this is my thing. I made it, and no one else would make something like this. So I kept it
Right.
pretty consistent.
I thought that definitely better follow through than I've had in many of my school projects.
I love the
Uh,
foodie angle too. Is this, do you think if, I guess we're going to ask you in a moment, like, if you're working on anything else or have plans for anything else. But I guess the question would be, what would be your through line, do you think, between your work that makes something distinctly you, other than, of course, your adorable animation style, your art
oh,
style?
thank you, thank you. I always like to say like I have three G's in my life. It's do I have three G's? I guess so. So like gourmet, so like food, girls, because I like drawing girls a lot,
Hmm.
and games. Although there's
Okay.
not a lot of gaming in here, but I like gaming.
What are
So
your
it's all
favorite games?
I feel like a lot of Nintendo stuff, but
Okay.
I also, yeah, a lot of Nintendo stuff, which is also very colorful, which has maybe influenced my art in some way.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in a Nintendo family. My sister is still on that side, but I defected to the PlayStation dark side.
Oh, okay. Actually, I do play some PlayStation games. Like I like From Software games a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, what things after this whole process of making this film, what do you wish you could go back and tell the you, before this began, how to do things better, differently? What do you wish you had known then?
I think I was still pretty proud of the fact that I kept to my or was kind of kept to my own ideas and made sure that what I want to make was what I want to make. So there wasn't much I wanted to change if I went back in the past, but I guess I would tell my younger self, take care of your hands because the wrist pain is very real when it comes to animation.
Do you have any ergonomic setup? Like
I
my
should,
sister just got a special mouse, and
I really should be. I really got to do that, honestly. If I want to keep animating, I got to get some ergonomic stuff.
Yeah, and speaking of which, what's the next steps? What do you have planned for the future? Are you working on
Um,
anything right now, or any
oh,
ideas?
unfortunately, the reality of being an animator and artist is you have to find money, you have to get a
right.
job. So right now, it's really just job searching. I have had some luck getting some art related stuff, but it's not really animation-y. But hopefully, one day in the future, we'd like to work for an animation company or an animation studio.
What is the other side of your job search, other than the artistic side? Are you, if you don't
Oh,
mind saying?
it's administration work,
Okay.
so a lot of
Okay.
art stuff. And sometimes they let me draw some graphics or do a little graphic design, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's a great way in a lot of places too.
Mhm.
Well, thank you again so much, Alanya, for taking the time to come talk to us today about your film.
Thank you for having me as well. I'm really appreciative of everything the Academy of Death Racer has done for us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and to everyone listening, if you want to watch Macaroni Soup, it's now playing at the AoDR Film Festival together with over 70 other short films. So get on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see
Thank
you
you so
there.
much. Yes, go get some soup and enjoy the festival, everybody. Thank
Yes, it's a
you.
great appetizer for the rest.